Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to Overcoach. So, we are taking a look at another Reinhardt player today. This is a gold console Reinhardt player. We are looking at King's Row here, obviously. We are on board with S1 Dwarf. And we are going to see if we can help this player out. Now, last week I'm aware that we did take a look at the Reinhardt scrim. And basically, the reason I'm doing a Reinhardt again is because I want to do them in order of people uploading them. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Now, obviously, this being, or having been recorded in the replay viewer, because we're not using the replay viewer, because this is an old VOD. But, because this was recorded in the replay viewer, we have the very nice thing of being able to know what the enemy team is running before they actually come out of the spawn. But, as you can see, they do have an anther. We are here. Behind the bus on King's Row, our mate is also with us. And we are outside the choke of King's Row. Do you know what a lot of players will do? Even if they're not playing the anther. They'll switch to anther and they'll sleep you. They will come out of spawn, they will fire asleep and sleep you. Don't do this. Because you get slept here, you are dead. Dead meat. Absolutely dead. Don't do that. It's way too risky. Especially on the defensive a point like this. One pick and you generally lose the match. I don't like the way our team is split here. Good back off when you were purple though. Our Reaper didn't back off though. He thought he was front line and this is going to be very tough for us to hold now. I would pull back here slightly to beside the hotel. Because we're a bit isolated here. That's a good pin. We need to kind of pull back here. We get the Rhine. That's a big shatter. That's a big shatter. Just don't overextend. Pull back, pull back, pull back. There's a hole behind you. You got tunnel vision on the anther there. You got heavy tunnel vision on the anther there. And I understand why. She was very, very low. But you had a hog behind you and you were below half health. It's better you stay alive than that anther dies. The anther is completely ineffectual anyway because she's only got 50 HP, if that. So, yeah. You should have just pulled back there, hold your barrier up, and get in front of that Roadhog so that he's not pummeling damage into you from behind because your healers won't be able to out-heal that. So, again, remember what I said with the Reinhardt in the last one, right? Use environment to your advantage. You're kind of just like stood out in the open. Use the side of the hotel on your right here. You see the wall? Use this to your advantage. Then you will not take as much damage into your barrier and stuff like that. Our Zarya is kind of overextending. Our Reaper keeps overextending. That is a ballsy res. We need to counter that charge and we need to charge him. Good, 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 good. Our Mei has just saved our Mercy's backside. That's a big shatter. We are dead. Ay, 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 ay. How did that McCree get nothing? How did that McCree get nothing? There was a comedy of errors from the entire team there. The Reaper is getting picked off every single time he comes out of the hotel doors on the right there. I don't know why he keeps doing it. He needs to stop doing it. Then the Mercy goes in front of the whole team and into the enemy team and goes and reses him. That's just not good. Brilliant block on the Reinhardt. Although he did kind of just yeet it into the shield and I don't know why he did that. Back off, back off, back off. Go forward, go forward. Yeah. We were kind of stuffed there. We were kind of stuffed there. That is very, very messy. I'm not going to lie, that is very, very messy. There were quite a few overextensions. When we went forward, we got the big shatter, but the hog just whole hogged us into their spawn basically, which is not too bad of a thing to do. Get out. Out, out, out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. You have lost 3. You have lost your Reaper. You have lost your Mercy. You have lost your Moira. You have no healing and you have very little damage output. Get out. Especially because you've got a Mei. Get out. Get out. There's no way you win this. There we go. There's absolutely no way you win that fight. You just need to get out of that point. Right. Reset. Go in as a team. They need to stop staggering. They need to get out. Get out, get out, get out. You cannot win Overwatch 2v6. It doesn't happen. Best players in the world can't do it. Don't go in, you're not a full team. Don't go in, you're not a full team. Wait. Wait, wait, wait. Right, and that we have a hog behind us. We have a hog behind us. Do you know what he's gonna do? Oh no, he's I was gonna say he's gonna hook. Oh dear. Well, our Reaper and Zarya have gone clutch here. We knew there was a hog behind us, and he was pumping damage into us from behind. He kind of then rotated around to the front of us. We were... It's difficult when you say that, because I could say you were overextended, but I know what you were doing. And your team didn't really move up with you. And with the sort of comp you're playing, Brigitte, Zarya, Reaper, Mei, Brig... This needs to be a death ball. You all need to be together. You all need to be just completely rolling. I mean, it's very meta what's being run here apart from the hog. That Blizzard's interesting. Nice turn. Nice turn. But it's, again, it's all over the place. Right, so there's a hog there. Everyone concentrate the hog. He was in a room alone. There's a Reaper behind. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, dear. We knew a Reaper went behind. I saw him Wraith behind. When the hog was in that health pack room. Saw him Wraith behind. I knew he was going on a flank. And I knew he'd get bloody value from it, because Reapers do it all the bloody time. And it works. Right, we need to just group up here. What is our Reaper doing? What is our Reaper doing? He's played it. Right, now we need to go forward. Now we need to go forward, contest the payload. Contest the payload. And we need to pressure out this Rein. We need to stop backing off. We're full health. We need to pressure him out. We need to pressure him out. We're being too passive. We're being too passive. You're not asserting your authority in this Reinhardt battle at all. Do you see what I mean? So, take for example, if you saw the 2500 plat video that we looked at last time, if not, watch it, because this will be really good for you. The way they attacked that Busan first point, mecha base, the way that Reinhardt pushed forward and took space, that is what you needed to do there. You needed to push forward, assert your dominance, take space. Everyone was with you. Your Mei, your Zarya should bubble you. And you need to be assertive. Instead, what happened is you were slightly too passive, and your Zarya made the move by launching a grab. What are we doing? Oh no, we are not doing a bumper. We are not doing a bumper. We are not doing a bumper. We are doing a bumper. Oh my god. Oh my goodness, it works. Oh my goodness. Sign him up. Sign him up. Overwatch League. Sign him up. It's bumper 2.0. That won't work at higher levels, I have to say. And I know I'm memeing the flip out of that with bumper, but... there's a saying about bumper. It's a plat player who somehow makes things work. Players like that will not work at a higher level, I can guarantee it. The Reinhardt would have snapped his barrier around in a flash. We passive. Passive. Get out now. Just get out. Go all the way back to spawn. What are we doing? What are we doing? Don't go forward. Don't go forward. Don't go forward. Don't go forward. Stay out of the range of any of them. Stay out of their range. You don't want to be feeding ult charge. Stay out of the range. Right. Now you got the bubble. Assert a dominance. Assert dominance. Counter charge. Oh, he didn't need to because he charged into the payload like a Papega. Right. We're going to hit this shatter. Hit it now. Very poor from their Reinhardt, but fantastic nonetheless. There's a Deadeye, but he got nothing anyway. You saw the opportunity to shatter. You took it. I like that. I like that you took the opportunity to shatter there. I could see that the Reinhardt was being an absolute dork. So, you just say, well, more fool you. Haha. Bang. Get on the floor. But yeah, that flanking shatter will not work at high level, I can guarantee it. But it's always very funny to see, isn't it? And we've seen a few at the very, very, very highest level of Overwatch, and it's only ever Bumper that was managed to get away with it. It's very, very funny. But yeah, try not to get into the habit of always flanking to try and get big shatters. Because when you flank like that, you are abandoning your team. They have very little in terms of frontline. They have a Zarya. And so they are left very exposed. No one to body block, no one to put a barrier up. So it's a very risky play. Very, very risky play. And it appears that the enemy team has a lever. Oh dear. That's not what you want to see, is it? So their support has left. I can't remember what they were playing now. No, the Anna's still there because they're playing Moira now. That's very, very unfortunate. And I should hope if that was a... Oh no, they're back. That's fine. That's good. Nice to see. They shouldn't really be upset with that either. Not too bad for Kingsrow. Mind the trap. We killed the trap. Cool. Don't be passive. Right. Hold. Heal. Heal. You're in hog hook range here. Other side. Okay, we need to recharge our barrier. We need to recharge our barrier. What was our Zarya doing all the way in there? That shouldn't have worked, see? So, do you know what the problem with that was? The Zarya went in, and she confused the hell out of the enemy team. That's what happened there, right? But the Zarya going in meant we had no bubble, which means we were struggling to actually push forward because our barrier was getting shredded by the hog and the Junkrat that were on the front line. I know that feeling. He's on the point. Don't worry about that lot. There's someone still on the point. Why? That's actually not too bad. If you get the picks from it, that is. And you only really got one pick from it. You shouldn't have killed that hog. So, did we really get value from that? We'd already won the fight. They were already retreating. Was that value, really? I wouldn't say so. I think we'd want that going into the next fight. Really, wouldn't we? Okay. I like that play. I like that a lot. You were stuck in a completely you weren't going to get out of that position, so you might as well charge and get something out of it. And maybe, just maybe, if your team resets quickly, you can get back before that Moira gets back. Which is actually value. I don't mind it. Where was our barrier? Why did we fire strike? You killed yourself. You're Reinhardt. You get hooked. Honestly, you get hooked. You are spamming the barrier. Like, you hold that barrier button down so it comes up as soon as you're free of the hook stuff. Because the amount of damage they're going to put into you is crazy. Oh, there's a flanking. Okay. And Moira just goes out into it. Okay. We're going to shatter this when they've got that. So we should hopefully get this. Where did the Reinhardt go? I was wondering that when you were going to shatter there. I was like, where's the Reinhardt? We should win this. We have heal. No, not with the soldier behind. we knew that it's not really your job to sort that out, but the team knew there was a soldier behind. The Moira got bloody killed by him. And yet she's got killed by him again because he's still behind. That shouldn't be happening. That's really poor in terms of game awareness. Really poor. Okay, charge him. Charge him. Charge him. Charge him. Don't forget he's there. Don't forget he's there. He's going to come back. Nice counter charge. Barrier. Barrier. And barrier down. Barrier down. Fire strike. Push forward. Push forward. They've got no front line. Push forward. What's the Moira and a Lucio going to do to you? Just push payload. Push payload. That Junkrat is suiciding. Mind the balls! Is that Soldier flanking again with his ult? Soldier in 2020, you have to flank Protect Visor apparently. Okay, so we're in a good position. We've got a lot of ults to seal this out. Oh dear. That is possibly one of the worst things you could have done. Don't charge that. Don't charge that. Fire strike it first. Fire strike into a grav. Always do that. Always fire strike into a grav. Always. Like, when I see something... a bit too far. A bit too far. A bit too far. Come on. Where is it? When I see something like this, and I'm seeing a Hog, a Junkrat, a Lucio, and a Moira locked in place, they can't go anywhere, and my fire strike is coming up in 1 second, I'm like, give it to me. 30% ult charge. Yes. That's what I'd be thinking. And yes, it's the end of the game, but you never know if a stall might come in. You might need that ult, and that Earth Shatter may have made the difference. So when you see a grav, don't just health leather charge into it. The best thing you can do is fire strike and swing. The time when you want to pin or charge into a grav is if there's a Reinhardt in it or something like that. You can then charge the Reinhardt out of the grav, and they have no protection for everyone else who is in the grav. You see what I mean? And so when they lose all the protection, the rest of your team can follow up on the rest in the grav, and the Reinhardt stood there like, well, damn, there's nothing I could do about that. And believe me, I've been in that position, and it's not very nice. Come on, where is it? This is. Who do we see? Who do we see here? I see Roadhog's hand. That's what I see. We literally needed to go a couple of steps to the right, as you will see. And there's a Moira, and there's a Reinhardt. If you shatter now, you get a 3-man shatter. We just like kind of, I don't know, trigger fingered with it, I think is the best explanation for it. So it's a common problem in Gold that people don't reset, and there's been a lot of that in this match. Also, when you are starting out on King's Row, don't go beyond that choke. Just don't go beyond that choke. It is not something you need to be doing. It isn't. You can throw a fire strike from the choke. You do not need to go beyond that choke. At a higher level, you won't even be at the choke. You need to be at the hotel. You need to be holding around the hotel. That is where I hold, and I am around high plat, low diamond. You always hold around the hotel, and then if you get pressured out, you can rotate round behind the hotel, or if you have the opportunity to push, you go forward in front of the hotel. But you don't hold up the choke. That's not a brilliant thing to do, because you will get spammed out, and they had a Junkrat, and that's what happens. And I know the torrid feeling of trying to attack a point that has a Junkrat defending it. It is not nice, but our Zarya kind of yeeted in, and it all kind of worked out in the end. But what we need to do in that situation is we need to not stand there and take tons and tons of poke damage, because that's exactly what they want if they're running Junkrat. They're going to build Riptires like there's none tomorrow, and we need to just move through that choke very, very quickly. That's it, because otherwise we won't be a barrier tank. We'll just be a big hunk of metal, because we will never have a barrier. But so yeah, the mechanics of working with a grav, that's what I would work on. The positioning on defense was a little bit weird. I think you're a little bit too passive, I'm not gonna lie, although I am a person who can be a little bit over aggressive, so yeah, take that as you will. But sometimes you need to, when you've got the right circumstances, when you've got your Zarya with you, when you've got a Mei as well, and when you know that their team is on the ropes slightly, you need to make sure that you push that advantage. And believe me, there are teams at the very highest level that don't do that either. London. So, you know, you're not the only one. But yeah, work on pressing advantages better. Work on asserting your dominance in a Reinhardt battle better and taking space. Because that's one thing I think you lacked, is the ability to take space a lot during this match. And that is what a tank does. And believe it or not, when your DPS always wants to moan, right? And funny thing is, DPS sometimes can't get stuff done. Not because they're bad, because their tanks aren't making space for them to get stuff done. So that's always something to be aware of. People very often will say, oh, the DPS aren't getting picks. Well, sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, well, did I make space? Did I give them the opportunities for picks? So that's always something to keep in your mind. But I think the thing that would help you out the most is watching the last Overcoach, because that'll give you an example of the first step of where you want to be. That'll give you an example of a Reinhardt that can, well, sometimes you overextended, but that'll give you an idea of a Reinhardt that can take space, a Reinhardt that can, he's shatter okay, but he will show you a Reinhardt that is better. That's what I would say, and the sort of traits that you need to push forward. But I think the biggest thing is learning to take space and learning to be a little bit more aggressive. Not too aggressive, but a little bit more aggressive, because I think you're a little bit passive, and very often you waited sometimes on your team to make the move. And generally the role of main tank is to make the move. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you'd like to give a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.